Welcome to the Summer Picnic Quilt. My name's Diane and I design and make patchwork quilts. And if you'd like to see how I made this one, please continue watching. Well, it's the 26th of June and here in the centre of England where I live we are having some lovely weather, perfect picnic weather, and I love picnics, and this design was inspired by a picnic blanket. So the background, all these little squares, are in a pale green and white, and I'm thinking that's like a gingham picnic throw, and then all of this floral on the top is just a celebration of summer. So again, as with all of my quilts, it looks a little bit complicated, but it's really easy. Mainly 3-inch squares and a few 3-inch half square triangles. So I've broken it down into simple blocks. So let's have a look at the fabric. And this is the fabric bundle I've bought. It's batiks. There's 20 fat quarters in there. I've never used batiks before. I've always been a little bit wary of colour run, but I'm reliably informed that things have moved on now and that you can mix it with quilting cottons, and so this is by Loud Elephant and it's called Rainbow. So let's open it up and have a look inside. So I tried to capture an arty shot and open the ribbon for you, but that's not going to happen with one hand. And so I've had to lay them all out and we'll have a look. There isn't a pattern as such, it's more like a watermark if anything, but it's very pretty. It's across all of them. So we have 2 in the yellow range, 3 in the orange, there's 4 in the red stroke raspberry, then we have 3 blue and 5 aqua. Well, it's pale blue and then moves into aqua, and then 3 green. So I'm thinking I'm going to create all of the flowers with those, and then I'll need to do the background. Well, I've got some of this John Loudon white background. It's a cotton with white on white. There's a small floral leaf, and then I have some of this very pale green, which I think would work well. I don't want anything to overpower the flowers on the top, and I think that might blend nicely. I think all of those colours work well together. Okay, let's get cutting. And there we are, lovely little rainbow of colours. I've cut everything into 3-inch squares or 4 3/4 inch squares, and these will become the half square triangles. You've probably gathered by now that sewing is my happy place, and if you're watching this video it's probably your happy place too. And so now that everything's cut, I'll be able to just come in, sew a little bit, when I can grab a few minutes here and there. So the blocks I'm working on are block C and block D. So at the moment I'm just working on the tops of each block. They're identical and there are 4 of each. Well, I've completed 8 of those, and to keep my mind organised when things are a little bit crazy, I'm just putting a little tick next to the areas I've completed. And now if you have a look at the bottom of block C and block D, it's just a repeat of the top. And there we are, 16 of those blocks complete. So I've given myself another little tick on there and there, so that's done. So even when you don't have time to do very much quilting, it does feel good to tick something off a list. So the next thing I'm going to do is this block F and the centre parts of these flowers. So the centre parts of block B, so there's 4 of those and there's 1 of those. I'll do those next. So I've sewn a 1/4 inch seam all the way around. I've pressed them, I've cut the corners off. Now I'm going to cut on the diagonal. So I've cut on the diagonal, I'm going to finger press them open and then sew them back together again. So I'll show you how I get these perfect little points when we join our half square triangles. So I start sewing away from the seam, so the seam is closer to me. So then I will sew a careful 1/4 inch down to there, and then I'll nest those seams at the bottom. I have the bottom seam coming towards me and the top seam going away from me, and I nest those seams together. So now I want to join these 2 half square triangles together to form a block. And so I'm starting on a seam this time, and so the lower seam I'm going to have coming towards me. So at the very top here, this bottom seam will be coming towards me, and then when I flip over, this top seam will be nesting with the lower one and this one will be going away, and then you'll get nice points. There we go. So we've got nice points, nice meetings of the seams everywhere, a nice allowance there to turn under. So we're not going to chop them off. Okay, let's tick that off. Well, I've been coming into the craft room and grabbing a few moments here and there, and I've just sat down to do some sewing, and I've noticed I've ticked off all of these boxes, and so I'm ready to start assembling. And so the first one I'm going to do is block C, and if you look carefully you can see there is a left and a right. So we have the on-point square, which is on the right here, with half of an on-point square, and then the top part is led by the green. So there you can see the half square there, on-point square, and then leading with the green on the top and leading with the green on the bottom. So there's 4 of those. I'll sew those together now. So that's block C completed, and now block D is a mirror image of that. One sits each side of this flower. So I'll put those together now. That's the placement. And that's block C and D complete. Looks really fresh looking, just 2 colours, green and white. Now we shall move on to block B. And if you're interested, I'm going to put a copy of this picture and the blocks on my community page. So if you want to follow along or have a go at doing this yourself, it's there for your reference. Okay, block C. So we start off with an on-point square. Well, the on-point square with the yellow centre and the raspberry corners is in the middle, and then it's pale blue, purple, raspberry, pale blue, and then it's purple, raspberry, raspberry, purple. And that's the centre block complete. And so now we just have the edges to put on, and they're the half square triangles. So I'll show you that layout. So if you look closely at block B, we've got white along the bottom, the background, and there's some green at the top and the background squares of green. That looks like that. So we have white across the bottom, we have the green on the sides, green on the top, and then the 2 pale green backgrounds. So sew those together, and that's block B complete. And there are 4 of those. And there we are, that's all sewn, and that looks really pretty. And I'll pop the side panels next to it so we can see what that looks like. And those together will look like that. It's a curious thing about batik, but when it is just the batik squares together, it looks quite dull and flat. And then when I've added the cotton with it and the sparkly white, it brings it all to life. So there was a point where I wasn't too keen, but now I think this batik is lovely. Okay, let's have a look at block A next. So this is block A, and we need 8 of those, and it's a 5 by 5 square block. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across and 5 down. And the centre part are made up of batiks. And those are the batik squares sewn together. We start off with a pale green, 2 purple, 3 raspberry, 4 pale blue, 3 deeper blue, and then 3 orange in the corner. Like I say, all of this layout will be on my community page if you want to follow it. And then I have a side panel across the bottom and one side. And that's it with the side panels. So you can just see there's a paler orange on that corner to bring the flower shape down. Okay, I'll sew those together and we'll have a look what they look like. Well, they look nice and colourful, the rate of those. So I'm going to set 4 aside because 4 belong in the middle part of the quilt, and then we have 4 for the outsides, and we need to add a little bit more to those. I'll show you what that looks like. And that's the layout for the edging. It's a continuation of the green and white checkerboard background. So we have a green square in the corner, and then it alternates white and green on each side. And that's those 4 complete. And so we have block E now to do, and there are 4 of those, and I'll show you what they look like. So block E are 4 half square triangles put together to form that piece. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it looks like this. They're 2 blocks wide, 5 deep, and they look like that. So they're going to radiate out from this on-point square. And you can just see I have used a pale green on the on-point square and the first set of triangles. So now we're on to assembling the quilt. Well, all the component parts are sewn, so I think it's going to come together really quickly now. The blocks are large, so I think I'll get this done in an hour or so. So my first step is to take the half square triangle, the arrows with the pale green in the centre, and attach 2 of the blocks that finish with the orange square. So there's 2 sets of those. So I've sewn those together, and now I've got to make a strip of the arrows and the central boss, put those together and then join them. And just a little tip, when you're sewing these half square triangles onto the base, if you have the half square triangles on the top, you can make sure that your points are preserved so you don't go over those lines, and also make sure you nest in nicely, because this is cut on the bias and it does want to stretch. So if you have half square triangles on the top, you can manoeuvre that in nicely. And there we are. That's the central part of the quilt complete. And now I will attach the bottom and the top panels. So the assembly is really just like a 9 patch. So we have 3 in the central column, like so. So I'll sew those together. And then we have the side panels, which are 2 of the flowers and then the 4 cornerstones. And then I will put a little narrow border on here just to preserve the points on the end of these flowers. Well, quilting is well underway. I'm using a silver grey thread on the top and the back, a simple cross hatch. I have 100% cotton batting and this lovely sage green polka dot for the backing. And that's the back, all beautifully quilted, 62 inches square, 158 centimetres. I'll show you the front. And I think it makes a lovely topper for a double bed. Look how pretty that looks. Okay, shall get this in my shop. Hopefully someone, somewhere, find it a good home. And that's it, it's all finished. It's really, really pretty, I think. Perfect for the summer. Well, I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. If you have, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and then you can go over to my community page where you can find the design and the blocks. Thanks for watching. Take good care of yourselves. Bye.